Okay, I know idiotic is a little bit harsh, so please don't get offended. I just wanted to get your attention because the information I have in this video is very important to you if you are looking at buying a home in the next little while. Now, if you are going to be buying a home, it's very likely that you will be doing one, two, or even all of these mistakes. And what I want to do is help you to avoid those mistakes so that you can have a home buying process that is smooth as silk compared to one where you're spinning your wheels and you may not even end up buying a home. So let's get started with the 7 biggest mistakes home buyers are making right now. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Lance and I'm a mortgage broker based here in New Zealand. This channel is really about giving you information so that you can make informed decisions and be a little bit clearer in your path to buying your first or subsequent home. Mistake number 1, not having a plan. So you've decided that you're going to buy a home, but you don't know what the journey looks like. So your first port of call might be to your solicitor, it might be to the real estate agent, or it might even be to a mortgage broker or to a bank. Which one comes first? It's important that you have a plan, and for that I suggest that you speak to a mortgage advisor or you speak to your bank. Normally they would be able to give you a roadmap on how the process works, from getting a pre-approval through to searching for a home, and then also what needs to be done once you've found a home, and then finally your settlement. So there is a roadmap and a plan that you should be clear about, and it always starts with talking to your bank or talking to a mortgage broker or lender. Mistake number 2, which is very much associated with step number 1, and that's not having a team of specialists. If you're going into the home buying journey, it's important that you have people behind you that can help you along the way. Most important of them all is a real estate agent that you can trust, or a real estate salesperson, or a mortgage broker. It's important that you have a solicitor that deals with property transactions, and also, although not as important, there is a valuer and a property inspector that you should also be connected to. These are the people that you need on your side that through a text or through a phone call can help direct your path to buying a home. Mistake number 3, using online mortgage calculators as a de facto pre-approval. What am I talking about? I'm talking about people who might go online. They'll click in a few numbers. They'll say, "Okay, I want to borrow 500,000." They'll come up with a random real interest rate, and then they'll say to themselves, "Well, geez, that's $700 a week, man. That's how much we're paying at the moment for rent. We can buy a house," right? And then they go to their bank, and unfortunately, they become declined, or the bank will come back and say, "No, I know you thought you could borrow 500,000, but your pre-approval is actually 400,000. So people are left confused. The best thing to do, rather than doing that, is actually speak to your bank or speak to a mortgage broker. So the online bank calculators will not give you an accurate amount because it doesn't take into account your rates, your insurance, and any other risk insurance that you might have, as well as your shopping habits. So there's a lot of things that are taken into account when you're getting a pre-approval, and you won't find that information just by using a mortgage calculator. Mistake number 4, giving up when your bank says no, and then you don't buy a house because you think, well, the bank's asked you to save more of a deposit, pay off more of your debt, etc., etc. In my experience, I've dealt with a lot of people who've been declined by their bank, and I've been able to get them pre-approvals at another bank, and usually for more than they thought they would be able to get. So my recommendation is, if that's you, get a proper pre-approval from a mortgage broker. Give them maybe some feedback on which bank has said no so that you don't go back there, because there are several banks here in New Zealand, and one of them is bound to give you a pre-approval. Now, the other thing that I find is that when the bank says no, quite often they'll tell you that you don't meet the lending criteria. They won't always tell you the reason why your loan has been declined. And for that reason, you'll find that with a mortgage broker who deals directly with the lender on your behalf, with the bank on your behalf, they have good, strong relationships with those banks, with the different lenders. who, if anything goes wrong with your application, they'll be able to give you some feedback on what you need to work for. So So very important that you speak to a mortgage broker. If your bank says no, it's not the end of the world, and you may still be able to get pre-approval. Mistake number 5 is mistaking a real estate agent for a financial advisor. There's quite often a lot of people will go and ask a real estate agent questions pertaining to finance that it's not their specialty. A real estate salesperson is there to sell a house or to help you buy a house. So when it comes to the sale and purchase agreement, or when it comes to placing your offer, they can give you some coaching and they can mentor you and help you through that part of the process. The question around your finance is really down to you, and you need to speak to your bank about it, or you need to speak to a mortgage broker. Don't ask the real estate agent, because some of them may have an idea, and a lot of it is just their opinion. It's not based on fact or any financial calculations. It's all just opinion. So again, if you're looking at getting financial advice on how much you can borrow, you really need to speak to a mortgage broker, or you need to speak to your bank. Mistake number 6, and you've probably heard this a lot, and that's getting emotional over your purchase. Now, we're all emotional beings, right? When we go and buy a home, just like going to buy a car and going to buy anything, we make a lot of our decisions based on emotion, whether they're right or wrong, and then we justify it with our logic, right? Oh yeah, we really needed to buy that $70,000 car. It's the same with buying a house. You really have to try and keep your emotions in check, because what happens is quite often is if your finance falls through, or if you're not able to buy the house, that really brings people down so badly that they just give up on buying a house altogether, or they'll always look at any subsequent home and compare it to the one that got away. And finally, mistake number 7, getting a personal loan just before buying your home. Now, I can't even begin to start on how many times that's happened to the people that I've worked with, where I've spoken to them and they're looking at buying a home, but what's happened? A week before they came to me, they just got approved to get a car loan that's going to push everything back. Why? Because when you get a personal loan, your repayments, let's say, for example, it's a $15,000 personal loan, and the repayments over the next 3 years might be, say, $600 a month, right? When you go and buy a home, that $600 a month is then put into your application as an expense. When it goes through to the bank, that $600 expense means that the bank will limit the amount that you can borrow, right? The amount that you can borrow comes from your income. And if you're spending that income, $600 on a personal loan, that's $600 that can't be applied to a home loan. Therefore, you may not get the level of pre-approval that you were looking for, because now you've got that extra expense. How do you deal with it? If the home is your priority, then by all means, buy a home and stay well away from getting any more debt. If anything, it's fantastic to go to a lender, to a bank with no debts. That is the best scenario. Right, that's it. Those are the 7 biggest mistakes that home buyers are making right now. And if you can avoid 1, 2, or all of these in your home buying journey, I'm going to tell you that it's going to be so much better for you when you go and buy a house. And I'm telling you, it's super exciting as well. Now, if you got anything out of this video, if you enjoyed this video, please again, click the like button below and feel free to subscribe and the notification bell so that you can get notified whenever a video comes out. I'll see you on the next video.